I think we're going to take this opportunity to open it up actually to the audience. We'd like to take some questions. Anybody has one? Yes, in the back.
What is your opinion of a film like Blade Runner where it merged future architecture with older architecture?
Russell?
It's a Frankfurt White House actually in Blade Runner. So.
It is?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think it's the Annie's house. It's a Frankfurt White building. It's a building that is in a Ricky Martin video. And also,
there's a book published on why are these modern houses used as the layer of the evil mind in the film. And actually, the piece in Dorot's, the film, the loud house in Dorot's piece is also used as kind of a layer of the villain. There's been a lot of analysis.
Yeah. I was just going to mention, Monica and I are also working on a book, a related book on the subject called Revisiting the Glass House, which will be available in the fall. But we've invited David Auburn, who's a playwright and screenplay writer, to actually write about the use of modern architecture as sort of a site for narrative in film and video. And you'll see that there are several video works in the exhibition today that are used as sort of a site for narrative, and the buildings are actually characters in the film. They actually play a major role. And he's extended that narrative to talk about sort of major feature films that also do a similar kind of thing.
for example, if you take one of the brochures with you, you will see that Dory McGregor's house has been in movies like Charlie's Angels Part 2, and it's the house of the evil person in the movie. Bandits, David Lebowski, and Playing God, for example. So we have like this kind of, why do we have like this impossibility? For example, we also have well, are there any more questions? Yes.
I just had some interesting feedback and wanted to expand another idea about the idealization of architecture that we have so much exposure to by way of modern photography, particularly like the roots of Jules Schulman and the clean narratives or really constructs that come out of that history alone of photography, and how that grew in such a history now in our current day of the cult, the whole, what's it called, like luxe decor, house porn, when you get like those fancy architectural magazines and Dwell. If you look through them, you're like, oh, those are great, those are beautiful, and then you just throw it aside, and like there's this relationship to that as its own sort of consumption sort of space, but also I think, even though there's this presentation that you can inhabit those kind of places on one hand, because of that traditional construct, I do think that that we also, I think, sort of humanity desires this certain sort of solace within that notion of home. And so we're always sort of up against this relationship between sort of the desire of solace and privacy, be it in its urban center or, that small tent in the woods. And that just kind of is compelling that there's these sort of constructs. And then with and amongst those, we have this interesting exhibition, which many of the images and the sort of history of the things that we're seeing here are so much informed by a lot of that construct of photography, which is very fascinating too, and that of film, which Terence was talking about as well. So it's fascinating, the sort of what you inhabit, psychologically, physically, and I'm interested.
Interesting is this idea of like magazines and architecture porn, as you're saying. I mean, that's the world that, I don't know, I'm sure there are many architects in this, but we're living in a world of kind of novelty now. Let's go on to the next thing quickly, and let's find the next new thing. The art world is the same. Maybe something, I'm guessing here, maybe some of that older architectural photography has maybe more sense of permanence, or maybe it's just sexier. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's a revitalization of it.
There's an essay by Princeton professor Beatriz Colomina. She actually explains that Le Corbusier did compose through photography, and that he would use photography to photograph buildings and kind of like clean them out, and then that was kind of like his sketches to build his own buildings, and that he would actually even like photograph his own buildings and still clean the photography for publication. Barragan also.
He would even rebuild after the photographs to get there for
So there is this photogenic kind of intention at the core of modern architecture. And I think that we're living that. I mean, we are living like the kind of the spin-offs and the, the result of that kind of portion of it in its origin.
But that's interesting about architects going back to the two-dimensional image and actually being able maybe to stay in that fantasy space, to return to the fantasy space, or only being able to accomplish their real ideals in the sort of two dimension.